Hey everybody, welcome back to Pixel Junkies.
Oh, hey there.
You're listening to the Pixel Junkies podcast, episode 143. I'm one of your hosts, Rory DC.
Just 143.
That's cool.
I just touched your bum.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, we're operating at like quarter capacity this week.
Yeah.
The graphics card that I normally use to do everything has decided to not work this week. Oh, okay.
I just saw your bum too, Adam.
I just got real destroyed here. Anyway, so I've been trying to figure out what the fuck we're doing.
9 times I've seen your ass crack and your ass crack.
And Adam's got his anus out. So.
It ain't a podcast till somebody's anus is whipping out.
So
My ass is a beautiful thing.
Have you ever seen it?
Yeah.
Not in a mirror?
No, see, I installed a mirror floor.
Oh.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Great start to this podcast.
Right down to mud button.
So...
This comes out on Boxing Day, isn't it? Or no?
No, Monday. Christmas is Monday.
Christmas is Monday.
So
Merry
Christmas is
Christmas.
Monday.
Happy
Merry Christmas.
Merry Dwightmas.
Happy holidays,
Did you
because
say
I'm not a biggest.
Dwightmas?
Yeah.
You're watching this on Christmas. I know you know that, but I thought I should let you know just to...
Well, what if they're not, though? They could be watching this whenever.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
Is that already a thing, Jordan?
I'm just thinking Dwight Ball.
Oh.
No, nothing to do with Dwight
It's
Ball.
from our special on Friday.
Oh.
Yeah, our character in Mabinogi, his name was Dwight Power. And, so he became the Pixel Junkies Santa. What the fuck is that?
You get it?
He's singing Christmas songs.
Are you sure?
I think he's
Flip him over, he's
chanting
going to swallow his tongue.
deity.
And have no ring.
That would be cool if there was a Christmas deity. I mean, there is a Christmas deity, but like for specific holidays,
Christmas existed?
for specific holidays, there are specific deities. Like Santa Claus would be a deity.
I know what you're saying.
The
Yeah.
Easter
is
Bunny
he
is a
not?
deity,
Uh,
and you have to pray to them, or else.
Oh.
I mean,
Yeah.
Yule's a deity.
Dwight Powers is
Slavic
deity.
deity.
Is it?
Dwight Ball
Yeah.
is a fucking
It was
idiot.
I believe it was like
We're
fertility.
talking about politics, Jordan.
I know, I
Or
just-
fertility
I'm
and like.
Dwight Power.
Don't make this into a Newfoundland politics discussion. Literally nobody fucking cares, Jordan.
Nobody in Newfoundland cares either.
I know. Let's drive my
The next lyrics in that song, you know, like "Ding Dong Merrily on High" is "Oh wee oh wee oh wee oh," and I've
Wow,
never,
inspirational.
yeah, I'm not even kidding. That's or "Oli Oli Oli oh" or whatever.
He's roly-poly-oly.
So speaking of loot boxes, like,
Small and short and round.
that was not a good segue.
no, it wasn't. But I couldn't do a natural segue, otherwise we never get to the top of the list.
Also,
No.
Andrew's back.
Andrew's
Hey,
back,
we were gonna do a funny intro, but then we didn't.
Rory's trying to introduce a topic
You're
I just don't
welcome.
want to talk about. So
Goddamn battery level.
I'm trying to,
Is it Apple requires?
yeah, I'm just trying to.
Why
So,
don't you want to talk about it?
Because it's not important right now.
Aaron, did your graphics
Because they
card die?
don't fucked
Yes,
up.
hang on.
Apple done fucked up.
I gotta get a power cable for the fucking control.
What a colossal mess of a podcast this is.
Yeah.
Really though.
It's like diarrhea dump.
I really don't.
So we've been talking a lot over these past couple weeks about loot boxes, and Apple has decided that they are going to require the disclosure of odds for loot boxes, with the implication being that they're going to prevent like unbelievably fraudulent loot boxes. And while they seem to be getting some praise for this, I just don't think loot boxes should be a thing anyways.
Aren't loot boxes by definition fraudulent?
Well,
Like you don't know
No,
what you're
They're
getting.
not any
Because
less
loot-
fraudulent than
No, it's
lottery.
because
like
fraudulent
gambling.
implies something hidden. Like with loot boxes, you're well aware of the possibility of not getting something. Like a slot machine. A slot machine isn't fraudulent because
But you always get something.
No, but there's gambling laws and stuff in place for these things. Like,
yes, and that's what Apple is.
I think-
kind
I
of
think-
they're trying to be
implementing.
the- yeah.
themselves.
I think what was circumventing that was the fact that you always get something no matter what. It may not be what you want, like the jackpot prize, but you
Yes.
get something.
Yes, yeah.
And
The
generally, gambling isn't. You always get
So
something.
can casinos like if you fail at a slot machine, but you always get like 1/4 back? Does that bypass the gambling?
I mean, it might, but I'd say the laws are. It's much more like I think like traditional gambling is much more regulated to the point where it's like maybe not. But with video games, it hasn't gotten to that point yet because nobody knows what's going on.
Yeah, so this is like they're trying to introduce something, but I mean, I don't know.
I can't wait for some politician in the States to be like, I can't believe they're gonna take out loot boxes. That's just, big government America, taking away our freedoms to have our loot boxes. Like, anyway,
I think with having to disclose the odds is a good thing.
Yeah,
I think it's a good thing. I agree, 100%.
Yes, but there's easy ways around that. I came up with a cue while I was on the Troll It today.
On the Troll It?
On the Troll It.
Okay.
Yeah. One is, you could say, these are the odds of winning a favorable item, and you can name whatever you want a favorable item to be. Yeah. So suddenly, like, oh, you have a 1 in 50, you have a 50-50 shot of winning a favorable item. A favorable item could be any, like, color palette, anything like that. I don't know the specifics of what Apple's...
That's not really disclosing the odds, though.
It is.
Well, yeah, but you're disclosing the potential prizes, not the odds of winning it.
I said you have a 1 in 2 shot. You have a 1 in 2 shot of winning a favorable item.
Yeah, but so then what's the item?
Could be anything.
Yeah, but so then that's...
Adam's point is that so far we don't know about the implementation, so right now it's open-ended.
Yeah,
like, he's saying they could still do this and it'd be garbage.
Yeah, I'm assuming that the odds mean, like, there's a 5% chance of you getting this, a 10% chance of you getting this. And
yeah, but I don't think Apple's going to come down that hard on...
Yeah, but if you say a favorable item, and that's a classification of 100 different things, and there's a 1 in 20 chance, then really it's not a 1 in 20 chance of getting the thing you want. It's like
it's enough.
2%.
Yeah, but that's enough of a loophole that companies will jump on that.
If it is a loophole.
If it is a loophole.
We don't know yet. We don't know if there's any loopholes.
But we actually don't know if Apple's going to be around forever anymore because, like, motherfuckers been throttling all the fucking iPhones and shit.
That's true. But I don't think that'll change anything.
Jordan, here's the thing about Apple. Well, if Apple is going to go down, I'm pretty sure it's
should it change anything is another related and interesting issue. Will it change anything? I think it won't.
I think that Apple are in some hot water right now as a result of this. I think a lot of people... You can
almost call it a cider.
Yeah. I agree, but I think people have very short memories when it comes to this sort of thing. You know what I mean?
So it's like, all the points that we're arguing here on the podcast are just completely irrelevant anyway.
Well, to a certain extent, you have a point because, like, you know what happens. Like, in a few months, then people forgive and they forget.
Yeah, I think people should be held more accountable for the bad things.
To be fair, if people can forgive Samsung phones for catching fire in their pocket for no reason, they will forgive Apple for this.
Yeah, I know. It's stupid, though. It's really fucking stupid. It's like, there's no... Like, money is the be-all, end-all for everything. You know? Like... It's
and in things like this, lack of competition is important. Right? Is an important part of what enables people... Like, how many times has YouTube screwed people over, right?
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. But, I mean, it's... the nature of it, we often forget. We have to remind ourselves how many years, like, how many different times. Like, we just sort of, like, got out of the spell of videos about adpocalypse and all of this. Mm-hmm. But that wasn't, like...
But every time that dies down, something else comes along and reignites the whole...
That wasn't even the first thing, right?
Yeah.
That's how America lost net neutrality is they'd have a conversation about it and everybody would be getting up in arms, and then they'd be like, all right, we won't do that, and then people will quiet them, like, we're secretly gonna keep doing that.
Oh, a great example is the creation
club.
The creation club. The very clever and totally not transparent way of introducing paid mods.
We play it all the time. It's great.
There's actually something worse now. And we should add it to the list.
Okay. We can talk about it now.
I'm going to talk about it now because it's a segue. It's called Mod Drop. Have you ever heard of this site? It's a website. It's not Bethesda related.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, it's not tied to the company Bethesda anyway. But what it does is you sign up for the service and it kind of like clumps mods together. So you click a button and you download a mod pack, basically.
Okay, sure, yeah.
But the problem there is the mods themselves may not be coming from the authors. So you can sign up for the service, download mods that you haven't made, upload the mods into this mod pack.
Oh,
there
yeah,
you go.
yeah.
So...
Oh, skeets.
Yeah, kind of.
Wow.
So the
And
problem
in order
is
to
always
even-
the problem, which is curation.
In order to even check if your mods are being stolen, you have to
Download that pack.
well,
or
you
be
no, you
aware
have
of
to
the
sign
content.
up. You have to log into their service,
Oh,
which includes a
protection.
end user license.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
by
shit.
doing that, you may be forfeiting your rights to have your mods taken off the site.
Sweet.
It's completely bullshit.
My favorite thing is people, like, breaking things that were already working fine for years. Like...
To make money off of it.
Yeah, to-
yeah,
yeah,
Yeah, it's
that's
new.
the
It's
issue,
new.
yeah.
It's new blood coming along, and they're seeing something they can exploit, and they do it.
Do you
Yeah.
want to... you said it was a segue. Do you mean to talking about Nexus?
We can also talk about that.
Okay, yeah.
It was a segue in the sense that I brought it up and was then moving into that conversation.
Oh, okay, yeah,
But yeah, we can
so
talk about what
It
Nexus
was
is.
a segue in that it was
A segue?
a segue.
Yeah.
yeah.
It was like
as long
I
as you're aware.
in this similar kind of story as to like people just like I don't know like Ponzi schemes or whatever the fuck you want to call them.
Yeah.
Anyways, a buddy of mine works at the passport agency, and I thought I lost my passport, so I asked him, I was like, what do I need to do? He's like, you gotta cancel it. And I was like, cool, all right. And then Erica was like, yeah, my passport's expired. So I was like, oh, all right, fuck it, we'll both go get ours on the same day.
Yeah.
She's like, well, I think I can do mine online. And so I asked my friend, I was like, can she go online and
Did
do
she
it?
get an email from a Nigerian prince?
Well,
about
this
getting a
is
new
this is the
passport?
issue is that you legally can get it done online, but the way it works is that they fill out the paperwork for you, so it's technically illegal. Like they fill out the paperwork for you online, and then ship your application off. You pay them for that, and then you also have to pay, like whatever Passport Canada is. You know what I mean? Like whatever. Like
That's illegal?
it's not illegal. It's legal. It's just like, but it's like a scheme, right? Like it's a scam kind of thing. Like so.
So it's not done through government Canada?
No, it's not a government. It's not a government thing.
I'd
It's-
be careful around that.
well,
yeah.
exactly, right? So there's a lot of potential. Like you have to pay him to do this application.
Not only that, but there's
and ship it off
huge,
and all that stuff.
like, confidential information
Oh
leak
fuck
there.
yeah! Like it's huge. So it's like, but it's technically not illegal, which is fucking scary. You
But
know.
Rory, I
Like,
can't imagine that any kind of website that handles personal protection or your personal information would ever have a data breach.
Well,
Certainly not.
even the government has dropped all the information for people for student loans in like last couple
Oh, you
years.
bet. All sorts of
It's
nonsense
crazy,
happens, man.
man.
I think the worst one has to be, again, something we were talking about. Andrew brought up on the before the podcast. We was talking about a show was Wormwood.
Wormwood.
And
Good show. You should
about
watch it.
partly based on MK Ultra, and I'm always amazed when MK Ultra comes up in conversation now. Not very many people talk about that because it seems it's such a.
Is it not Mark Ultra?
What?
MK is usually abbreviation for Mark, is it not?
Or mock.
I think I can't remember what it.
No, it's mock.
Mind Control with a K.
No, it's not it.
Mind Control, he's a DJ.
It's actually Mein Kampf. It's Mein Kampf.
But
Mortal
Ultra-
Kombat Ultra.
Carry
That's
on.
what I
Adam.
thought.
one thing
was.
that I'm surprised that nobody talks about is that fucking Equifax. Is Equifax breach?
Oh,
the
yeah.
data breach that happened earlier this year where like half of America lost its personal
Well,
information, including
Half
like.
of America's kind of upset about it, but the other half is just
they,
like,
they don't seem to be talking about it.
well, most of them are just toting guns and, you know.
You
I
know
don't
what?
know. It just seems
We're not Americans.
for
Yeah,
such
we're
a,
not Americans if you didn't guess already.
for such
yeah.
a massive data breach. You think more people would be upset about that?
Nah.
Because that's only like.
It's only
Because
personal
like your
information.
bank your PIN number can be changed, your credit card information that can be changed. What can't be changed, what a lot of people lost, was their social insurance number, or whatever the equivalent in the States is.
Yeah.
And I think, as far as I'm aware, the only way to get that changed is to enter the witness protection program. Really.
Basically, yeah.
So the fact that nobody talks about that
can't you
data
change
breach
that?
is astounding to me. What?
Why can't you change that?
Because it's like the
It's like an
one thing-
identifying number, if that makes sense.
It's like the one thing that all your other things are based off of.
Yeah, but like, why can't you just change it and then have all the new things up to
I
it?
mean, you technically can, but it's such a long and arbitrary, like a long and like awful process to do. I don't even know if you can change it, but I would imagine that if you had to change it, there would be so many fucking forms and wait lists and
Yeah.
stuff to put out. To answer your question, I don't know why it's not easy to change, or why it's
if theft of them is somewhat easy, as it seems like it is, if you really wanted to do it, then why is it so difficult to change? That seems dumb. Why tie so much information to one thing that anybody can get their hands on and is then permanently that number?
Yeah.
Just a little side note. I think we're recording one thing in mono over here.
Yeah, well, the snowball is mono.
No, the snowball's recording in stereo.
Well, then it doesn't matter if they're both mono or whatever.
No, one's stereo and one's mono.
Yeah, well, the snowball is mono and Andrew's microphone is stereo.
It's the other way around.
The snowball has 2 tracks on the go, mine has 1.
How does that make any sense?
I have no idea.
Whatever.
This
podcast probably not coming out. Merry Christmas, everybody.
This podcast was kind of doomed from the start.
Nexus.
I'm amazed we can do anything at all without a graphics card. So
yeah.
So Nexus Mods has devised a way to give some money back to the authors,
and it's not
Not
abundantly
bad.
shit.
Yeah, it's not a bad system. So what they're doing is, it hasn't been implemented yet. What they're doing is building a donation pool. So Nexus Mods will be donating between $5,000 and $10,000 a month.
Mm-hmm.
And all the user base can also donate money to this pool. And at the end of the month, money will be distributed to the mod authors based on how many people are using those mods.
That's how Spotify should work.
How does Spotify work?
It just picks like 1% of ad revenue.
Yeah, it's pretty. It's Spotify is very
It's
like
abysmal.
not dynamic.
It's completely abysmal. Like I get 0.000.
That wouldn't help the little man anyway, though, Jordan.
What's that?
That wouldn't help on Spot. That wouldn't help the little man on Spotify.
No, but
That's
like
just
if they
gonna
add
get Kanye West
if they add
money.
$1 billion to every monthly revenue like output, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
but if 90% of the listens are coming from like 3 bands, then they have the money.
that's fine. But even like my 0.0001% would be more money. If you know
Would
what
it?
I mean, like that's the thing. Like if there's a
Maybe.
bigger pool of money, there's a bigger percentage of money coming in my pocket. You know, but
I mean,
like,
maybe.
yeah, you're totally right in what you're saying. But at the same time, it's like it should be.
You'd have to really drill down into how their business works, because like if they get more money from ad revenue than just straight up taking money out of their own pocket.
No,
And,
all
like-
their money is ad revenue and subscription based.
Yeah, so then I would assume that
But Aaron's saying it's possible they get more overall from their ad revenue and subscription base than they would if they switched over to
like
the...
I mean like
No,
how,
what I'm saying is they should take whatever money they have at the end of the month and give more money to the artists.
but how do you know that's not what they do? Like what
Because-
percentage of their revenue goes back to artists?
A very small amount.
And if they made that into a pool, how do you know it would change?
Because it should be divided percentile based on plays. So if I got 1 play that month, then I would be 1 share out of whatever the total amount.
So then
of
how does
is.
the payment system work now?
It works like that, but it's from like 1% of the ad revenue and not the other 99% that Spotify takes for the company.
Yeah, but I would imagine there's a fixed percentage on how much they give back to artists.
Yes, it's like 1%.
And it's based on so it
So I
doesn't
get
change.
I get 1 share of however many streams per month
Whatever.
of 1% of revenue.
I don't see how it changes then.
Because
If
it
they-
would be 99% of their revenue. It could, and
Yeah, but then they're
keep
not
one.
making money.
I know.
You're
but-
telling them to give away all their money.
Yes, because they're $1 billion corporation
All right.
that uses other people's fucking material in order to make money, which is completely unfair.
Well, maybe you should not make music and instead make music players, Jordan.
Well, that's a good idea.
Why don't you
Then
make
you'd
your
be in
own-
charge.
I'm
Would you
just
be
gonna
giving
mur-
away all
I'm
your
just
money?
gonna commit suicide.
But I think the Nexus model's pretty good.
Yeah,
And it's funny that...
It doesn't look like mod authors are going to get a lot of money from this, but they're going to get some money.
But
And
also, like, the thing about this is...
no money.
This wasn't exactly some, like, stroke of genius. It's not like this was
No.
some really complicated thing.
Yeah.
Like, it's a very simple thing, and it shocks me that so few people suggested similar ideas.
this is something that Bethesda easily could have implemented. As
I
opposed
thought
to
that's
Well,
what they
they
were
should.
trying to
Creation
implement.
Club, with their already working mods that they have on their website.
Yeah.
I don't know if like I doubt anybody here knows the answer to this. Could Bethesda take down Nexus
No.
for copyright infringement? Because
No.
even so, how
Bethesda
are mods,
provides the creation kit on which mods are made.
Okay, so like Rockstar could take down Nexus if Nexus started making GTA 5
When
mods.
you make a mod, you own that mod.
Okay.
But Bethesda owns the game it runs on.
Okay.
I guess it really depends on the game, I think, because I mean, like you're saying, Rockstar, they did that recently. It was this year, was it not? They said no more mods for GTA or whatever.
Was that this year?
It was either earlier
Yeah,
this year or last.
I should have
those
a list
Take-Two.
of top news stories this year for next week.
You can still do that.
No,
But-
no, Tom.
So it might be possible for a developer to go, you're not making mods for this. We'll like take you to court over it. It's our IP. We can do what we want with it. But when
Well, you can say not distribute mods for it. You can't say not make mods for it.
I mean, I guess
Why not?
there's really nothing they can do.
Because
But
it's a distinct thing. Like you, well, for one thing, there's no way of telling if you made a mod for something.
yeah, and,
Yeah.
yeah, obviously, I mean, you can like you're not supposed to do drugs, but you can still do them. But I mean, obviously, they're not gonna say, well, you can do
Don't do
drugs because
drugs.
we can't really tell if you did them. But
It's easy to do.
I
Fairly
think
cheap.
the
Makes you look cool, but don't do them, kids.
fact that Bethesda provide the modding tools, it kind of changes it.
There's a lot of good stuff there. That Adam was cheap, makes you look cool.
Don't do them.
This
Don't do mods.
drugs is sounding like a thing.
Yeah, but
It
Rory,
seems like
Rory,
it's
did you
the
not listen to what I
future.
said? Don't do them.
Don't do mods, kids. Stay in vanilla.
Stay in your boring vanilla environment. Don't experiment and make things better.
Yeah.
Mods and my good Christian games.
So PUBG officially announced.
Hey, Aaron, have you ever played PUBG?
You know what? I have not.
Wow. Has anyone
Oh,
here played
fuck.
PUBG?
I can't be bothered.
Was it?
really.
What is it?
I'll play
Players
Fortnite.
under Battlegrounds?
Players Unknown Battlegrounds.
I have watched people play many hours of PUBG. I
I
have
would.
not played
How
it
can you
myself.
watch other people play games?
Because I'm watching my friends
while
on
they're
Twitch
talking
play
and
it.
stuff.
I'm watching my friends on Twitch play it, Jordan.
I think Jordan's making a joke about the fact that we're right here or doing what we do.
Not watching me play a game because we can't. At the
I
moment.
am, but yeah.
Oh yeah. Rory's watching me fail.
I'm like
miserably
watching the
over
corner of
Normally,
the screen,
that's
thinking
where I would
that you're
sit.
in like
In fact,
map editor or something.
That would be the better
Just
place for
flying
me to
around.
sit because my laptop's right there, and I, something were to
You
happen.
got your phone.
Yeah, but I'm saying if something went wrong or something, I could immediately be over there and
There's
and-
titty
and-
drop on your phone.
That's fine.
So, Rory, is there a reason you brought up PUBG?
So I just wanted to say that
Yes.
it's finally out of early access, which I think is funny because I think when people said PUBG announced, everyone was like, "Didn't it already launch?" Like when they said it
Yeah.
launched, but no, it didn't.
Did it
now
already win
it's-
like
like
95
Ark.
Game of the Year awards?
Yeah,
And
yeah, exactly.
I'm really
Yeah.
glad it's
This
toppled
game's been on the go for
Overwatch as the
25
game
years,
everyone's
but-
fucking talking about, and I can't wait for the next one. Hopefully it's Doki Doki Literary Club.
The
I've seen you playing that, Adam, and I watched or saw some screenshots. I have no idea what the fuck it is.
Doki Doki Literary Club?
We'll be
Yeah.
talking about it next week in the Year in Review show. I imagine if it makes Adam's top games of the
Adam's
year.
Game of the Year. It's a graphic novel like, about writing, but
It's
with
a
Have you
animals.
guys already recorded that?
No,
No.
that's next week. We were gonna get you on.
Do you want to be on it?
You've been on every year. You have to be on it.
Oh, jeez.
Congratulations.
I
you've
thought
been
I had
conscripted.
committed enough this year.
Nope. Sorry.
Fuck, all 3 viewers.
2 videos.
You're gonna
So
be
isn't-
surprised when I'm in.
Isn't
next
PUBG
week, too.
still, like, kind of broken?
Damn right it's broken. Of course it's broken. That's what you do. You don't release the game until
Yeah.
it's ready, and then you just release it
But
anyways,
guys,
even if it's
but
not ready.
we keep complaining about it, but guess what happened?
What happened?
Every fucking time people put out a game now, it's still fucking broken. We've created this culture.
No.
Yes.
No.
Name one game that does.
Destiny 2.
No way.
Yes.
That's not
Bullshit.
broken?
Destiny 2.
Bullshit.
No, here's the thing.
That
Loot
came out
boxes,
this year?
That's
Yeah.
broken.
Horizon Zero Dawn.
It's,
No,
it's
it-
broken
no,
because
no,
it got
no,
loot
no,
boxes. You
no.
gotta pay for shit in it. Like,
No.
fuck that.
No, it's terrible because there's loot boxes, but the game worked. 100. I encountered maybe one graphical glitch throughout my entire playthrough of that fucking
Actual
game.
gameplay-wise, yeah, it works, but,
Yeah, but you're talking just.
No, I'm talking about don't put it out.
No.
Stop putting out- I don't-
Persona 5
I think they need to stop putting out
or
games.
Resident Evil 7.
I'm not trying to
Until
argue
they're
against
like-
Jordan's point, but Horizon Zero Dawn.
yes, Horizon was a good release.
Regardless
what
of
I'm
all
trying
this,
to
Jordan
say.
actually still has a point about
Yes.
Yeah.
there's way too many broken
By,
games that get
like
released.
Batman coming out for PC.
Oh my Jesus!
Like that's the one I'll go to all the time.
I vomit a little bit in my mouth
Like,
when I remember that.
seriously,
to be honest
guys?
with you. I love that series too, man,
It's
with all my
fucking great.
heart.
And even the PlayStation version was great, but it's like you're really starting to shoot yourself in the
The
fucking
console
face.
version of PUBG is absolute dog shit.
Yeah, I'm sure
Yeah, it is.
It's
I'm not even gonna-
unreal how feces it
I will
is.
never
It's
download that
unbelievable.
game.
It runs
Never.
bad on PC, but when we were talking about this a couple of weeks back, about it coming to console and about running at 60 frames and all that. It doesn't even run at 30, and I'm pretty sure it doesn't run at 30 on the Pro either.
Yeah, we were talking about
but isn't that a thing? They had to lock it at 30 so the people on the normal consoles, like what I have, are at an immediate disadvantage against the people playing the Pro consoles?
Well, essentially, yeah, it was 60 v 30 in that argument. In this case, it's like 30 v maybe 5.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
How is that the most unoptimized game ever?
Because it was made by a guy who makes mods on a game engine that he's not familiar with, I guess. I don't know.
Well, it's based on... isn't it a DayZ mod?
It was,
and
but...
DayZ is a Arma mod?
Jesus.
Yes,
Yeah.
but...
Mod within a mod
But
within a mod.
PubG is based... PubG was built from the ground up on Unreal 4.
Oh.
Which is hilarious, because Fortnite was built in Unreal, except it was made by the people who made Unreal, so it doesn't suck.
Well, here's the thing about Fortnite: they copied PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds.
Oh, of
they
course.
should be sued.
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
that's how that argument went.
That was my favorite. Like,
PlayerUnknown's like, "Hey, you copied our game," and he's like, "This is our game engine, asshole." And he's like, "Oh, right. Don't do it again, I guess."
That was great.
So.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't understand. I mean, I get why it's popular, but at the same time, it seems so broken that I don't understand why. Like, I understand like the concept behind it being popular, but like,
I guess it's kind of like big heads in GoldenEye 64.
Okay, elaborate, please.
Hang on.
No, actually,
I'm gonna
don't.
need a brace from that.
You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
No. Yes.
Not
yeah.
really.
So, apparently, there's still no word on if John Hamm is going to play Batman or not.
Yeah, so this was like... there's been talks basically since Ben Affleck took on Batman about him stopping to be Batman. All right.
Yeah, but why?
Because he doesn't want to do it anymore.
He signed it. It was like, all right, and your signature on this contract, you're officially signed up to play Batman, Mr. Affleck. All right, I'm going to stop playing Batman. It's like, what? You just signed the contract.
I think the idea was that he wanted to direct a Batman movie, and he got pulled out.
He also
that
wanted to
project.
make good movies.
Yeah.
I think.
Justice League wasn't too bad.
No, I will never watch that.
You should. It's not bad.
No, it's not.
Did
Wonder Woman was all right.
Did you like Batman v Superman?
I never watched it.
Oh,
I got no time for it. I fucking hate Superman. That's the biggest thing.
Why?
I just
Superman's
hate.
great.
He's
did you like Man of Steel?
Why?
Because he's just like Superman. Like,
Now, I will admit, Zack Snyder's Superman.
That's his name.
Henry Cavill is awful. Remember when Spider-Man was like Spider-Man?
no.
How weird was his lip in
Spider-Man has like
Justice League?
Anyways,
I didn't notice it.
so there's been a bunch of talk about
How long does it take him to grow a fucking mustache?
about who will replace Ben Affleck as Batman.
Hold on a second.
Okay.
Before you go into it, why the fuck would you sign up for something that's definitely going to be a recurring role?
Because he was under the impression it was going to be good and that he would be able to make his movies.
Yeah, but that doesn't... He signed a contract saying that, then he should have been able to do it.
But that might have been a clause in the contract. Or maybe he's getting
tiny
biased.
print. DC doesn't actually have to follow any
Ben
of
Affleck
these.
sucks. Ben Affleck is the reason that this is all going on.
Well, to be fair,
Warner Brothers. Sorry.
Ben Affleck
me and Aaron were having a conversation about this. This fucks continuity to a certain extent. Me and Aaron are picky about our continuity.
Whoa! Rory, pump those brakes right now. Are you and Aaron a little bit picky about continuity?
It
that
fucks
has
over-
never once come up in this
It
conversation.
fucks over the actor who takes over for him. Because he's either got to fuck the continuity and play his own Bruce Wayne, or somehow play into the Bruce Wayne that Affleck's been
Aaron,
playing.
watch out for the car.
Which is a huge pain in the
I
ass, and a huge ask as an actor.
I don't mind that.
Probably.
If it's the same writers or it's the same kind of like production
gonna shoot
team,
at
you know
me?
what I mean? Because it's like
It might be not
it's probably
noticeable.
fine, but it's just annoying.
They could
All
just do an
these
infinite
reboots-
universe thing and have John Hamm come into this dimension
I
from another.
But he plays
and
the Adam
kill
West
Ben
Batman.
Affleck.
I will say it seems like in at least the
Golly gee,
rumors.
Ronald, we gotta get out
In
of
at
here.
least the rumors, John Hamm is seemingly the one the rumors are unifying on. Now, sometimes those turn out to be true, and sometimes those turn out to be Eric Bana as Bond,
Most
which never happened. Which I cried quite a bit, even though I quite liked Daniel Craig in the end. But
Did you actually cry?
no, I didn't physically cry when Eric Bana didn't get Bond.
You can't.
But I was very much hoping that Eric Bana was going to get Bond.
I think
Eric
it
Bana
was
would be
boring
good.
It got hard not to
Especially
cry.
at the time,
Maybe.
right?
Yeah.
It would have. But so John Hamm wouldn't have been my first pick, but I think he's a fine pick. As far
definitely
as
looks
if you're
the
going
part.
to fuck the continuity, he definitely looks the part.
Yeah.
He's a good actor.
Antonio Banderas.
There you
He'll
go.
take literally anything as a role.
Yeah, it's kind of
Bet
good.
Muenez.
I
don't know what Muenez is.
if
It
we
sounds
were-
Mexican.
If we were concerned about him not liking DC movies, John Hamm gives no fucks about that. He was in fucking Minions.
But I think
Was he?
He could. John Hamm could give a shit about what he plays.
I think Danny Trejo would be
Jesus Christ.
the best Batman.
If they write it into the continuity that, like, Bruce Wayne died and this is, like, another dude
No, then-
stealing
no.
his
Oh, you're
social
not gonna-
We
insurance
should
number.
get Terry McGinnis. That'd be awesome.
But that's annoying. Like, don't be at that order.
Why?
Like,
Batman Beyond is cool.
hear me out.
Either
They
reboot it
should
or write it
ditch
into the story.
The entire fucking DC movie line.
They've already put too much money in it.
Don't
Reboot
matter.
it. If
Don't
Ben
matter.
Affleck is gone, reboot it.
And just make a Harley Quinn porno. That's
They
Okay,
exist.
first of all,
starring Margot Robbie.
Okay, well, that doesn't exist.
that's not gonna.
No, sorry.
Okay, that's an interesting pitch, but.
porn star that looks pretty
two
close.
executives
Seriously,
are watching
though.
this right now.
What do you mean seriously? You can't say that. You can't say something
Oh my
like that
God,
to me and then say
that's
seriously.
Yeah.
Call Margot Robbie.
Stop screaming. Stop
Nothing
screaming.
about the DC
Too loud.
universe is like, oh my god, I can't wait till this comes out in theaters. Everything about it is like, yeah, I'll probably end up going seeing it, I guess. Like, and millions
So
of
you're
Except
people,
you, who refuses to go see it.
millions
Yeah,
of people
I'll
are
give them
spending their
money,
money
reluctantly.
being like, I guess this is okay. Because it's a character I used to like in a comic book. And then everybody leaves and they're like, that wasn't very good.
Yeah, but you have a good.
And it's just like, it's just so stupid. It's similar to the video game scenario. It's like, you just forgive people for putting out shit content. It's not cool.
yeah, but
Stop it.
Yeah.
Stop putting billions of dollars into this shit.
Justice League was actually not bad.
Yeah, but was it?
He just said it
Aquaman
wasn't
was
bad. What is
flying.
your question?
Jordan.
In the trailer. Aquaman can fly.
I want. No, he can't.
He did in the trailer.
No, he didn't.
He got thrown.
Oh.
Yeah, he was absolutely not.
That was
fine.
also in the
I'm
trailer.
glad you actually said that time because you've broken through the final barrier and gotten the truth. It is actually shit. Jordan managed to beat all my levels.
Yeah, he was.
Break through
Adam has a
every
quota
test.
of like 5. It was good before
Yeah.
he finally caved.
But
Yes.
was the build-up worth it? Because, I mean, they only had, like, 2 movies, right?
No, they didn't earn this.
There's been 12.
Avengers had earned it.
There's
Yeah.
there are 3 preceding movies in this continuity:
No.
Well, to
Man of Steel, Suicide Squad, Batman vs
Well, to
Superman.
be fair-
That's
And
3.
Wonder Woman.
Oh, sorry, 4. There were 4
Well,
preceding.
well,
He's
Okay.
right. I'm wrong.
And The Flash.
The
TV
Flash.
show.
The
No.
Flash.
But that's
no,
not-
that's not in the same continuity.
to be fair,
Fuck off.
TV
you
shows
gotta
are-
stop cutting me off. I'm gonna punch you in your fucking throat. I swear to fuck. To be fair, Suicide, even though it is in the same continuity, Suicide Squad really doesn't add like it isn't. It's more like
It doesn't affect this continuity.
it's more like Guardians of the Galaxy affecting Avengers.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't.
It's an intermediary film that doesn't really have anything.
Until the
that
new
Well, it
follows
kind of
on.
did. I get your point, but Guardians of the Galaxy kind of did.
Suicide
anyway.
Squad does it less even
Yeah.
than Guardians of the Galaxy.
I was trying to bring up an example from Marvel.
I know, but
that
you
really
picked the
wasn't.
one movie that had Thanos in it. But anyway.
All right.
He should have said what
Hulk.
Rogue One was to Star Wars because nothing came after Rogue One. We haven't used anything from Rogue One since.
Episode 4.
It literally like directly ties in.
No, but nothing. We didn't use anything from Rogue One to make a movie that was made after Rogue One.
No.
Yeah, we did.
Yes.
What?
The ship in minor spoilers. The rebel ship, the resistance ship in episode 8 is called the Raditz and is named after Admiral Raditz, who was the Mon Calamari admiral.
That's not anything though. Like that's not a like that ties in about as much as Suicide Squad does. The
It really was. It was very minor spoilers.
the
Stupid.
It's just about the name of a starship.
Yeah, I didn't even know
God
that.
damn it, Adam.
the
Now I'm going to be looking at names of starships.
So yeah, John Hamm could be interesting. I don't like the switch of actors.
Yeah, reboot it.
But if Ben Affleck wants to do something, Ben Affleck is going to do it.
Here's the
Yeah.
thing, though. If they're going to replace anybody as anybody, please get, was it Henry Cavill or whatever, who plays Superman?
You're looking for Henry Cavill.
Yeah, Henry Cavill. Get him out of Superman, or
I like that Adam said that.
stop
before.
letting Zack Snyder direct Superman because he does not get Superman at all.
I
Not even a
happen
little.
to agree with Adam.
No one
on that
ever
front.
should get Superman.
My thought
He's
process
good,
on
Jordan.
this.
He's a good character.
He's so lame.
Shit. My
No,
thought
he's not.
process
He's
on this
invincible.
was when the Russo brothers finish up with Marvel's like storyline, they should do the DC universe from scratch.
Yeah.
Because
I watched
Disney,
that.
Disney should just buy out
To be
Warner
fair, I don't
Brothers.
think they need to
No,
do
they
it.
shouldn't.
Not
Don't do
enough,
that.
in my opinion, not enough has happened that you would need to do it from scratch. I think
No,
could
you do.
right into this continuity.
The continuity's already fucked.
Well-
you gotta do it again.
I
but
don't
it's
necessarily
not-
agree.
Yep, it's fucked.
The I think it's still fresh enough that you could write lots of stuff. There's lots of stuff that hasn't been introduced yet. Like the Green Lanterns
But,
haven't
like-
been properly introduced.
Although
We know they
were-
exist in
they
this
were
universe.
they were cameoed, which was I thought was
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. We
Yeah.
know they exist, but they haven't been introduced.
I like
there's
Green
a whole.
Lantern. Except
Rory,
for
would you
Hal Jordan.
would you
Yeah.
buy a book that the first
Or Kyle
5
Rayner's
chapters is garbage,
What?
but the rest of the book is deadly?
Okay, but here's the thing. It's even if they reboot it, they're not basing that off the sales of the first few movies. Do you see what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
fans,
DC
most
is more
fans-
complicated than that. DC are like, they'd write 8 books that are all garbage and then one that's really good, but it's only good if you read the other 8 garbage ones. And then 2 of those aren't in the same continuity retroactively, and another one ties into something that happened in one of them but isn't canon with the
The
rest
people
of
I want to see
Yeah.
do a DC movie are the people who do the DC TV shows because they're fantastic,
Or the DC animated movies.
or the DC animated movies for that matter.
I have the only one I can get behind is Gotham. That's the only one I can get behind at all.
Really?
The only one
Yeah.
you've seen?
Yeah,
Does Gotham tie into?
but like
Okay.
multiple episodes.
Mm.
You know,
Arrow's good. Flash is good.
it. So do they
I've
need
heard-
to
I've heard
Supergirl
good
is
things.
I've heard
fantastic.
Supergirl's really good.
Yeah. Supergirl's probably the best of the bunch, actually.
Really? It looked so bad.
I'm
though.
excluding Gotham from that list. The trailer for Supergirl was fucking horrendous.
Yeah.
The biggest
Didn't it
difference?
switch networks? Supergirl?
Yes, it did. It switched.
So
from,
did it get better after that?
Why are there so many DeLoreans?
To be honest, not really. It was actually pretty good on the original network, but it did switch over to the CW, which was a good move because, to be honest, Supergirl is better. Like, come on, like it was on. I believe it was ABC before. Like the CW is just better for that kind of like geek focused show. right?
also CW never cancels anything.
Also, the CW doesn't cancel shit, which is an excellent
Put
point.
Firefly on it.
Really get Firefly. Yeah, that would do great.
People
as
are
well.
screaming like, "Oh, Disney's gonna save Firefly."
Yeah, right.
Maybe.
No.
No.
Who knows?
If Disney saves Firefly, and you can hold me accountable to this, I'll buy Jordan. I'll take Jordan out to sushi.
Wow.
Wow, what a brave man putting that all on the line.
Get him a nice steak. A nice steak dinner.
I'll cook Jordan a nice steak
What
dinner.
about a tuna steak at a sushi place?
So, so Matt Damon. Have you guys heard about this thing with Matt Damon? So
No.
this is going to be quite interesting.
That he was in Thor?
I'm bringing this up solely not because I
Please-
want to talk about it, but because I want to hear you guys talk.
Please
about
don't tell me that he's been accused of sexual harassment.
No, it's
okay,
it's
good.
it's a couple degrees
Is he the new
left of
Batman?
that actually.
Oh.
So there's a petition to remove. So in the
'Cause
new
he's
Oceans
too- he's
film,
too
Ocean's
friendly?
8, there's been a petition. So Matt Damon's a cameo in Ocean's 8, right?
So, so the new Oceans movie takes place within that same continuity.
Yes. And so, which
Better
is cool.
job than DC already.
And so he is a cameo in the film. There's been a petition to remove
That's the
him
Ocean's universe.
for a combination of 2 reasons.
Oceans
OCU.
War.
So there's been an accusation that during, you remember this whole Harvey Weinstein thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That during that time, there's been an accusation that Matt Damon squashed a bad news story about Harvey Weinstein by calling the reporter. And so this is a really and he made comments earlier last week about how he thinks there should be more of a distinction drawn between people who are like sexually harassing people like at the office and people who like rape people.
Yeah. I
and-
think there should be. That makes
I
sense.
think they're both criminally punishable.
But I don't think they should be equally punished.
That's exactly what
Yeah.
he said. So, mostly due to the first part of the story about the accusation that he squashed a Harvey Weinstein story.
Right.
There's been a petition which has received just over 20,000 signatures when I checked a couple hours ago to remove his cameo from Ocean's 8 because Ocean's 8 is supposed to be a movie like supportive of women because of course it's an all-female cast, which as you'll recall was a story we did earlier this year. Last year.
Yeah, but I'm not saying. Ian, I'm just adding in. Like he didn't say he didn't come out and defend Harvey Weinstein from what I've read.
This is all based on a rumor.
Yeah.
As far as I know, it's just an accusation. I should verify something. He actually has made a statement on this. So it was Harvey Weinstein and another guy was what this negative story was about. And apparently he says he called to vouch professionally for this other guy, not personally. It is my impression of what I've read from him, which this is very quickly researched. So but the thing that comes to my mind about this was the thing that came to my mind when, and this is kind of in a different dimension, but when James Cameron criticized Wonder Woman, for being male Hollywood doing what it always does, and of course, Patty Jenkins took quite a bit of offense to that.
Yeah.
I was like, James Cameron, why are you talking about this? And I look at Matt Damon's statement, and I'm not saying that he shouldn't have said anything. I just think it was a peculiar thing for him to open his mouth about.
I will say, like compared to some of the other, Louis C.K. and Kevin Spacey, like what he said isn't.
I don't think those two belong in the same category either. But yeah.
Okay, well, whatever.
I don't know.
Louis C.K. didn't rape somebody. He just whipped his dick out.
No. That's not what I mean.
Okay.
So, what I'm saying is Matt Damon is, obviously he's not trying to defend Harvey Weinstein.
No.
And I do get what he's saying, that there is a difference between rape and sexual assault and, and sexual harassment. And there is.
Yeah.
If somebody calls you, if you're a woman at an office and somebody calls you a slut, that's awful. But if somebody rapes you, that is, I would personally, and I'm telling the truth here, I would rather be murdered than raped. Personally, if somebody was like, I will either rape you or murder you, I would say murder. I would choose murder.
And he also
I'm not saying, I do agree with his statement that there are degrees, but all are reprehensible behavior,
which is a part of his statement actually. And also it's one of the things he mentioned was, he said when it came time to a question to work with someone who's been accused of sexual misconduct in some way, he would judge it on a case-by-case basis, which also received a lot of flack.
But you should. That's what you should do. That's why we have the rule of law in both Canada and America, where you're guilty until proven innocent.
And nowhere else.
Innocent until proven guilty.
So this is the interesting thing.
No, he's talking about 2017. It's actually the opposite.
I meant innocent until proven guilty. Thank you for catching
this. Is the interesting thing was I read a lot of the statements on this from the fans and from the people who did the petition.
Yep.
And I was just surprised because of, I wonder how many more of these we're going to see, because if you're looking at people who were connected to Harvey Weinstein,
it's
a
guy
lot
who
of people. Produced, how many movies
Yeah.
do you see the Weinstein Company logo in front of? It's absurd. The guy has over 300 production credits to his name personally.
Yeah.
And I wonder if this is going to affect other people, because I think we can all agree that Matt Damon is he's not being accused of doing anything.
No.
He's a degree of separation away from a guy who was accused of doing something. So I wonder how many other people who were adjacent to Harvey Weinstein are going to face something similar in the near future.
Because not to drag the conversation into this topic, because none of us are either educated, or none of us are educated enough really to talk about this issue.
I only got my grade 3
in super in depth. However, I find it, there is a question to be like, how. Is there a moral parameter? Is there a moral
barometer? A moral barometer?
No.
You're just Steve Harvey quote?
Yeah.
Nice.
Is there a moral? I can't even think of the word. Just like
barometer.
No, it's not barometer. It's not barometer.
It isn't barometer when Steve Harvey says it either. But can we just use barometer?
Is there a moral barometer to imperative?
It's one of my favorite quotes.
Is there a moral imperative to talk out about, is Matt Damon and other people I'm just saying Matt Damon because, we're talking about him. I don't know if he's actually done this, but for other people in Hollywood, people must have known what Harvey Weinstein was doing. friggin'
damn right, Seth MacFarlane.
Yeah. And so, are these people morally responsible to speak out against this, or is there some degree of, obviously they didn't perpetuate these acts, but are they somehow responsible for, not speaking out? I'm not saying is as bad, but do they have some onus on the situation? I'm not saying yes. I'm not saying no.
Well,
I'm just raising.
If you see somebody get murdered, you're witness to a fucking crime. It should be no different if you see somebody getting sexually assaulted. I feel like you have a right and an obligation to report that to.
It depends on where you are. in some states.
I think Jordan's saying
you're not
what he
legally
thinks
required.
should be, not what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly. And it's I don't know. Like there's HR departments in all these companies for those reasons too. Like they, like I don't know. Every job I've ever worked, it's like there's been a pertinent fucking like day-long seminar of like, this is ethical and this is sexual harassment and this is this and this is that. And if you have any issues with it, go talk to your HR department. And I feel like that's
and then you go to your HR department and,
and they
like,
try
hey,
and
hot
cover it
tits,
up.
I didn't understand
exactly, and
they
and a lot of times they would try and cover these things up because they don't want it to reach a legal standpoint. But I think sometimes it is necessary, like like in the same sense that like a fender bender could be just two people swapping insurance, or there's other times when police need to be involved.
I know what you're saying.
At the same time, like if I'm let's say I'm working for the Prime Minister of Canada. And I'm a woman, and I'm working as like a low-level assistant to some low-level guy. And all of a sudden, the Prime Minister of Canada brings me into his office, and he sexually assaults me or rapes me. I don't know why you're laughing at that. That's not really a thing to laugh at.
No, because it's just an extreme example.
I'm just saying,
then
like
he's only stealing vacations off of people, man. Like he's not raping.
I'm not saying
right?
Justin Trudeau. I'm saying an unnamed Canadian Prime Minister.
And then he goes to HR and says someone's trying to get me in trouble.
I'm just saying, sometimes depending on where you work, powerful people, if somebody of major power is working above you and they're the ones to perpetrate these acts, you feel afraid to go and talk to HR because really, if
you won't get a job again.
If you're working in the White House and Donald Trump sexually assaults you, are you going to go to HR or are you going to be like, well, he's the most powerful political
it's not going to
man.
matter anyway.
Yeah, so what? You're just gonna pack up your things and leave and live with it.
Well, that's
a
sad
shameful.
reality.
Matt Damon's also taking flack because he has a very well-known friendship with the Affleck brothers, who are not the favored people. When
Why
it comes
can't
to
you
this
say
sort of
anything? It's so stupid. Why can't you say anything?
To be fair, we're saying stuff now.
I know, but nobody watches this. Matt Damon is a known thing. You can't argue either side. You can't argue either side, apparently, without getting shit on.
Well, the interesting thing about Matt Damon is all of this stuff, whether it's the Harvey Weinstein thing or his friendship with the Affleck brothers, these are all proxy things. He hasn't done any of the things. Yeah. He's friends with people who've done the things.
Yeah, I just think people, people are witch hunting right now, and it's become a witch hunt where people
There's nobody else right now that they can focus their attention on. These people that
you're saying it's like a
I think as soon as
like
somebody else
almost kind of thing.
If someone else rapes somebody, if another high profile case comes out, I think the thing with Matt Damon is going to quiet down for at least a while.
Well, that's it. That's
it doesn't just have
now.
to be a celebrity, though. I mean, there are plenty affecting other celebrities. I mean, I'm sure every day. I'm sure there's in universities, in businesses, and even in families. Sadly enough, there are people, all over the world who are getting raped and sexually assaulted.
Yeah, but they're not important. Who cares if you take down somebody that's not important?
Well,
you can't publicly humiliate them if they're not important.
Can I say something which I think is a bit pertinent here? I think fan feedback is a wonderful thing when it comes to things like the 100 this in their third season killed off a beloved character in a very lazy in poor way. It wasn't executed well at all, and they received a lot of backlash for that. And I think that's the good kind of backlash, because then they can learn from that in the future. Be like, okay, the fans don't respond to this this tropey way we did this.
Right.
We'll do a better thing in the future. When it comes to things, but that's what fans are good at, right? Because they know the TV shows, they know the plot, they know the lore, they know tropes. When it comes to things like fire this person and fire that person, I don't think that fan input, because
I don't know. It's not fan input at that point.
But it becomes knee-jerk mob mentality.
It's mob mentality.
But the thing is, though, then fans are giving feedback on how to run a show or how to run a movie, and fans, to be honest, don't know shit about who should be the cinematographer and who should direct this movie. Fans don't know a fucking thing about making a movie.
It's maybe one fan. And
right,
then
I see what you mean. And then
they belong to a certain
and then a large group of people. I just don't think. I think you should get feedback from the experts, and I think audience they're the experts at knowing the content, and I think the people who run it are the experts at making the content.
I think there's a degree to that too, though, because before the internet was the huge thing, you accepted shit as it was, and it was people could still make great things.
Mhm.
And I think
Yeah.
like feedback is one thing, but like again, I think they relied more on expert feedback in that sense. So there were people who were excellent in their field in terms of delivering a quality story about, I don't know, I think Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So there's like that kind of thing, right? So like fans weren't being like, you shouldn't have fucking done this in this season, you shouldn't have done that. They were just glued to their fucking seats like, holy shit, this is awesome, I'm gonna stick around for the whole ride. And that doesn't happen anymore.
Although to be fair, the massive spoiler for Buffy, when Tara dies, that received a lot of criticism from the fans. But I guess that was later too. That was that was in the 2000s at that point.
I mean, to be fair, I mean there is a long-standing tradition in any kind of speculative media where lesbians die horribly.
Which is exactly the case of the 100. They
Yeah.
shouldn't have written it that way. But that's what fans can talk about. The idea of saying you should fire this person because I know how to make a TV production is absurd.
Yeah. And in the case of being guilty by proximity, I think that's just how things are now.
Right, I know what you mean.
It's not...
Which is why I'm thinking that maybe this kind of thing happened more in the future, especially when you have a high degree node like Harvey Weinstein.
I hate to say this word, fucking, because it's been so stupid this past year, but
Far away.
Fake news as well. Like that's a huge contributor to these things because
you're triggering me, Jordan.
When you got 60 fucking outlets saying 60 different things about the same scenario, you're bound to get people who are like, you know what? Yeah, Matt Damon raped somebody too, and it's like, oh shit, he said it. He said it. So then it's like, or Matt Damon's buddy for this example. So the main article was Harvey Weinstein, right? So now there's 10,000 sub articles that have been released saying that it's not just
the rumor.
Weinstein,
The rumor comes out that Matt, professionally called somebody, not necessarily about Weinstein, but about this other unnamed guy.
Yeah.
And the next day, the articles are like, Matt Damon protects rapists.
Exactly, and so that's where everything's. It's just like.
Yeah.
But it's not about. A lot of those sites are not about spreading the truth. They're about making it their own business.
It's content delivery.
There's a really
crazy.
great moment. There's when The Life of Brian was coming out, the Monty Python movie. It was getting a lot of flack in Britain because it was a movie about the life of centered around Jesus Christ. And at that time, Britain was, and in many ways still is, was a very religious and conservative country. So it was getting a lot of flack. Monty Python did a sketch right before the movie came out, or right after, where John Cleese is walking down the street and he sees somebody selling newspapers, and it says, Monty Python hates the church, or something like that. And he comes back, he's like, did you even watch the movie? And they're going back and forth. It's like, but you're not telling the truth. And the guy who's selling the papers responds with, I'm not in the business of telling the truth, I'm in the business of selling newspapers. And that is the most accurate thing that has ever come out of that show. Where for a lot of these, not, even with CNN and stuff, that they do it to an extent, but like any kind of like Facebook news group or like very fringe news group, whether it's what's Alex Jones's show, Infowars, yeah,
Infowars.com,
Infowars, or like any of the liberal leaning stuff like Democracy Now or whatever they call themselves. They're not in the business of telling the truth. They're in the business of getting clicks and likes and shares, and that's the problem.
I don't think you can reasonably believe any network that profits solely off of your view.
Yeah.
So
and the onus is on us as consumers to fact check stuff. So when I see something written online, for the most part, I have to fact check. So if it's like, if it came out as like Justin Trudeau accused of raping 2 teenage girls, I'll look into that and I'll type up, and if the CBC or the BBC or CNN, somebody who's halfway reputable is reporting, I'm like, okay, that's probably true then. Because
you want to check with their sources as well. If all those places are getting getting that info from the same source.
But that's the point of having a trusted news source. You would think that the BBC and the CBC would have trusted news sources.
And you've also got to look at who's writing those articles.
Yes, but again, when you're talking about certain news organizations, some of them are inherently more trustworthy than others. Like the CBC has proven itself to be pretty non-biased, or non-partisan, non-biased, and reports mainly on the news. Have they fucked up in the past? Yes, because they're an organization. Organizations fuck up all the time, but they tend to be all right.
They're also not a private organization.
Well, they're a crown corporation.
Yeah, but it's like, yes, they're like government funded, but the funds come from the public, basically.
Yes. Well, I mean,
so
yeah.
it would be in their interest to disclose useful information.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The furthermore, I also think, going back to the theme of
Way off
expertise, that if CNN picks up this Matt Damon story, it's going to get screwed up because I think the people who should be reporting about this are entertainment sites. Honestly, people who are experts in entertainment and how it's made.
But
this shouldn't be on CNN. This should be on Variety.
I don't know.
You know,
And this is still all based on a rumor.
And it's
nothing here has been proven.
Well, yeah. For one, this story shouldn't be picked up yet at all.
Yeah.
But like,
it will.
Other than the fact that Matt Damon has come out and said that he said professionally.
The real news is that Matt Damon made a statement. If Matt Damon ignored this, then this wouldn't be news yet because nothing happened.
Well, I mean, it's the Barbara Streisand effect, where like if something's on the air,
I think that's just the Streisand effect.
Whatever.
Right? Isn't that? Don't we have a name for that?
Yeah, it's the Streisand effect.
Yeah.
But it is the Barbara.
Well, yeah, that's who it's named after.
yeah.
What is it?
The Streisand effect.
So like
A while ago, Barbara Streisand tried to get a picture taken down or something
of her house on the internet.
Yeah, of her house, and it just blew up, and now it's all over the internet.
Because it's a common thing where it's like if
the
one way to get people interested in something is to say that's secret, don't look at that.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
then suddenly people are like, all right,
the purple elephant, right? Like,
yeah, that's where the fappening came from.
No, that came from everybody wanted to see naked girls.
Well, but it's still the whole.
But he's got a point though.
Yeah.
There was a big backlash from celebrities, and rightfully so.
I think that stems from the same point. Like, yes, you want to see naked girls, but it's because you can't normally see them naked.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's a good
Did you see Sia's Twitter?
No.
I don't know if you follow. So
I don't follow
anyways,
Sia, but Sia's good.
I'm a fan of her music.
Me too.
And I was on her Twitter a couple weeks ago. Like, I'd seen that she was putting out a Christmas album, so I was just like seeing.
Isn't it good?
What's that?
I don't know. It's all originals. I haven't really listened to much of it.
But do you recall the most
But
famous
anyways,
reindeer?
I open up like her Instagram. Her Instagram, is it her Instagram or her Twitter? I think it was her Instagram.
Yeah.
And there's a naked picture of her there. And
That's
I was
unusual. That's not allowed on Instagram.
Yeah, I know. So I was like, what the fuck is this?
Is it not?
And so under it, she had written, it looks like somebody's found a picture of me naked and wants to spread it all around the internet and try and blackmail me for it. So here it is, guys. You guys can have free whatever the fuck you want to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
Which was
Who is this?
This is Sia. You
She's
know,
a singer.
Oh,
which
she was
you know
like Sia
She's
to
Australian.
that blackmailer.
He knows who Sia is. He said
I know who she is now that you've said it, but
Yeah.
my brain farted for a second. Anyway,
But-
go ahead.
Bad boy.
You love me.
that was a different approach to attack.
Yeah, that's a
that.
very different approach.
And it was a really it really put the power back in her hands in my eyes at least, like to say like I don't give a it's
also a thing where,
you
like back in the 80s that would have been something unspeakable, like if an actress would have had nudes leaked, but now because it's such a common thing, it's less of a social stigma. I mean, obviously, it's still a violation of privacy, but because so many other actresses have had this happen, she's not alone, if that makes sense.
I feel like in this age of information and it's very clear knowledge that nothing on your phone is private anymore.
Don't
keep your tits on your phone.
Don't
keep your dick on your phone. Don't keep your asshole on your phone.
Unless you don't care.
Unless you don't care, yeah.
Yeah.
But you should care.
Why?
But she was forced to put that online because
yes, which sucks. Yes. But I
because nobody wants to see your dick.
It's different if nobody wants to see it and ends up seeing it by accident.
I admire her for that strength to fight that and combat that bullshit. You know, like when faced with that situation, what would you do? You know what I mean? And she was like, "Fuck you, I'm gonna."
It'd be funny if it was just a bluff. And you're like, let's see if Sia has any... Because I've always called her Sia, which is why I didn't know who you were talking about. But let's see if Sia has any nudes. I have a nude picture of you. I'm going to release it if you don't do it. Like, didn't somebody try to bluff Emma Watson into doing that?
Probably.
Because I think it was a couple of years ago, right, when the Jennifer Lawrence thing happened. They were saying, we have nude photos of Emma Watson. We're going to release them in like 4 days or something. And I guess that was just like a bluff period to like... let her release them, and it's like, well, we never had them, but there they are.
Maybe she paid them.
I don't know.
See, and there's all this underlying shit too, like people trying to keep up good images and stuff, and
I mean, who really cares? Like, what celebrities have we seen naked, and why does anybody care anymore? Like,
yeah,
Like,
I know what I mean.
So apparently
Jennifer-
Activision pulls Transformers games from the Steam and the PS.
Adam pulling a bit of a me today, trying to make sure we keep on it. I appreciate
Well,
that.
we're an hour in and we spent the last
Yeah.
40
So
fucking
yeah,
minutes
Activision
talking
pulled the
about-
Transformers
High Dad boner.
games from Steam and the PlayStation Store.
Why?
So no one knows. because
Re-releases, I bet.
They
Yep.
well,
Activision
there's some
likes-
speculation that they lost the rights because they apparently did the same thing with like some Spider-Man games they no longer own.
I
Or
think
something
they did
back
the
in
same
the
thing
day.
with Deadpool, didn't they?
That could be the
Yeah, I think
case.
so.
But
Yeah.
I think Deadpool's back.
And so there's been no statement. They just sort of silently did this,
So-
which I find kind of amusing.
If you lose the rights to something, does then that retroactively make everything else nullified?
Depends on the agreement.
I guess that
Because-
seems really weird.
Because
Wow.
it's weird because Dark Horse no longer has the rights for the Star Wars comics, but they're still able to publish re-releases of their comics.
Yes.
I think
Yes.
they're just not allowed to make any new ones.
From a
but
copyright standpoint, like
fucking copyright laws are some bullshit.
if I work with MGA, or MGA doesn't exist anymore. If I work with Sony Records for an
Yeah.
album, and they own that album, they own the master rights to it. So technically, they can re-release. I don't know if they want to make a compilation CD for every album that I've ever owned that I worked with them on. They can do that because they own the master rights. I still need to receive a royalty. So like, as a result, Lucasfilm or wherever that those royalties go back to for each publication, they still get it, but it's their content.
Reward
Okay.
split is a very strong part of copyright law. Like for instance, if me and Jordan write a book together,
This is a tech-heavy podcast, everybody.
Jordan can
Tech-
decide to
technicality.
release new sequels of that book without my permission, but I have to get a profit. And likewise, I can release new sequels without Jordan's permission, but he still has to.
But
get
what
a
if it's
profit.
a subsidiary of the first thing?
That's a trickier. That gets much
Well,
trickier than like
this
regular
is where
standard co-op.
this is where like pre-contracts exist and legality and legal teams and hiring attorneys and stuff like that. It's really essential when you're releasing content.
Merry Christmas, everyone. By the way, just want to point that out. Merry Christmas.
There was something
nice
that
and-
happened with
Fuck the arts.
Mafia, the game Mafia.
Yeah.
First
That,
one.
yes, that was taken down off Steam because the license to some of the music in the game ended, and they could no longer sell that game.
Oh, something similar happened to it was a stealth series, Splinter Cell. Yeah, Splinter Cell, same thing.
Pandora Tomorrow.
Pandora Tomorrow, which is the best one.
Yeah.
And is that? It's my opinion, the best one. I'm
Chaos
interested.
Theory is my.
Is it your favorite? Okay. Yeah.
Can I speak to that for a second?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
From personal experience. So we recorded a video of us doing a version of "Closer to the Heart" is a Rush cover, and
You don't mean Pixel Junkies, do you?
No. My band Waterfront Fire.
Yeah.
Just gonna throw
You
a
made
plug
the
in there.
worst cover band ever.
Anyway, so we did that. We had we
Yeah.
had string quartet come in, and like we made a big deal out of it. And so
Of what? Like Kickstart My Heart, is what you said?
no, Closer to the Heart by
Oh.
Rush. Anyway, so we're about 2 years down the road. We get the video edited, and we're like, we want to release
years?
it. Yeah, just don't even worry about it. And we want to release the video,
Alright.
but we want to do it legally. Like, we don't want to just put it up on Facebook and like, cause if it does get viral or whatever the case may be, then there's a lot of legal implications that can happen
If
by
you're
taking
making money
someone's
off
music.
of it.
Well, exactly, if you're making any money off it. So we contacted Rush's distribution, or I can't remember exactly. But anyway, we have to make an agreement saying that we can only put it up on YouTube, to say that it's not for profit, to say that any profit made from the video goes to Rush, and all this stuff. Like, we had to sign this legally binding agreement, and it's going to cost us $200. And that's for a period of 2 years. So after the 2 years is done, we can either renegotiate a new contract to keep the content, or we need to take the video down.
Wow.
So could you keep the video unlisted for 2 years and then publish it?
Well, if it's unlisted, it's just like when it comes to distribution is where the agreements come into play, because I can cover a song in my room and I don't owe Bob Seger any money. You know what I mean? Like, if I wanted to cover one of his songs, but when I use that for commercial purposes, I have to pay him as the
So then
originator
why
of the
would
content.
you, like, after a period of 2 years, unless it's like a really ridiculous video,
Yeah.
it's not getting any more,
No.
not getting any more
Copyright lawyers
views
are supposed to wake up
enough.
in the morning and take a lot of
But what
cocaine
if
just to
like
start their
Justin
day, right?
Bieber does just a cover just a video of him in his room with a guitar on a laptop, like his old videos.
Yeah.
He does a cover of some shit
Stop Me
song,
By Queen.
One of
and he
his
puts it up
songs.
unmonetized on
He
YouTube.
covers his own song.
He makes no money from this, but doesn't that still promote Justin Bieber
Yes.
on YouTube?
Yeah.
So would he have to sign a legal agreement
No.
then?
Of his
That's
own
what I'm
music?
saying. That's what
No,
I'm
to
saying.
whatever song he's covering,
No.
he would have to
No, he
contact
wouldn't.
them then.
Charlie Puth
There's-
does covers. Charlie Puth did Hotline Bling, and no one is more picky about this than Drake's people about getting songs off of YouTube. You can't even post Passion Flower on YouTube. It's not going to happen.
That's what I'm saying, though. Why would you, after a period of 2 years, if you're not getting regular views on this video, give Rush $200 to monetize the video after that
We're
period?
not giving Rush
Well,
anything.
no. We haven't made it public yet.
Yeah, no, but that's what I'm saying.
He's
Well,
saying
it is
if
now.
you do it
but
for
anyway.
2 years, then,
Yeah.
and then the contract expires, he's saying who would ever re-up that contract?
Yeah, so why wouldn't you just upload it unmonetized to begin with and not give them any money?
Because they can pursue legal action.
But if you're not making money from it, how can they? Is that not fair use?
It seems entirely fair use because you don't use anything from them other than their the lyrics,
Yeah.
the actual words.
I think
and the,
if it's
the
unmonetized,
melodies.
I think that falls under fair use, and then that's entirely in your onus to just have an unmonetized video.
But, like,
you
what
get...
if somebody took something that you had done graphic design-wise and did that?
Well, that's different. If it's literally stolen material, then yes. But I think if somebody took... I mean, that's what everything is. It's
But,
somebody's
like, if
idea of
somebody
something
made,
else.
like, if somebody took up something that you had and did, like, one of those Bob Marley photos or something, you know what I mean? Like, where you take a bunch of different photos of different colors, and then when you zoom it out, it's actually...
Well, artwork falls under a
There's a
different...
pictogram.
I think artwork is a bit more tactile because it's visual. But, like, with music, it's... I think it falls under a certain percentage, like 20% or something like that.
There's
needs to be-
specific, that's correct.
But it's
yeah.
different for visual because you can see it. But if it's audio and it's somebody else's interpretation of something auditory, I don't think that's not plagiarism. Like if you ripped the CD and uploaded it and had it monetized,
Yeah.
that's obviously stealing.
Totally.
But if you do your own version of a song, I
Yeah.
feel like that's fair use.
We gotta look into it a little bit more, maybe.
I agree.
Like,
But at the same time, like...
Like I said before, I mean, like, copyright lawyers just must wake up in the morning and be like, Jesus.
so
Yeah,
long as
because
it's unmonetized, I feel like it's fair use.
All right, ready to start
Yeah,
today.
there's...
Like if somebody took my artwork and put it somewhere, so long as they're not making a profit from it, I think that falls under fair use.
Okay.
So, because at the end of the day, they're really just sharing what you
mean,
did.
you can probably just upload that video and not monetize it.
But what if there's potential to make money?
Like,
Well, if there's a
by
potential,
monetizing
Yeah.
it, then you gotta sign an agreement.
That's what I'm saying.
But
Yeah.
in terms of that agreement you just said, you can't monetize it. You can't make any money.
No.
you're just
'Cause you
giving
gotta
them
give them
money to
money.
monetize it.
The
When did you talk about video games?
Matthew Vaughn might be directing a DC movie. So if you don't know Matthew Vaughn, because Andrew asked me before the podcast
Is he
who
Vince
and I
Vaughn's
said
brother?
he did Kick-Ass and Kingsman, and I forgot probably the most pertinent movie he did to him directing a DC movie, which was First Class.
Is he Vince Vaughn's brother?
Which is my favorite X-Men movie for a long time, at the very least. Since X2, at least.
Do you consider Logan an X-Men movie?
Yes, I do.
Why wouldn't you?
Because it's not
It's
really.
It's a worthwhile question.
It's an X-Men character movie, but it's not a
By
X-Men.
the way, I like, if you read the original
enough.
comic that Logan is based off of, Logan ends up killing all the X-Men. That's why they're not there anymore, because he gets either brainwashed or Mysterio, something happens, and he thinks that all the X-Men are actually, like, a lot of the Marvel villains. The last guy he kills is, I think it's Rogue, but Rogue looks like Lady Deathstrike, and so he kills her, and then all of a sudden the illusion goes away, and he's just like, oh shit, I've literally just slaughtered all of the X-Men.
No, that's not what happens.
The
They set it up so that there's a bunch of kids that can be the X-Men in the future, but then Marvel buys Fox.
I think in the movie they actually set up that Professor X killed the X-Men accidentally with like a psychic
Yeah.
backlash. Like,
it's not stated, but it's implied.
yeah.
But I mean, that seems like a pretty good resume as far as directing.
Oh, yeah.
So I think the DC, what I'd like to see is him do like a Green Lantern.
Yeah.
I think that would be really
That'd be
good.
perfect.
Like for his tone,
Or
Green Lantern is fun.
to
It's
move on
science
to a new
fiction.
color.
you
or
know.
New Gods.
Okay, sure. Okay, yeah.
And like which could tie into the DC comic, the current DC like Justice League movies, because they're setting up obviously for Darkseid, and the new gods directly correlate to Darkseid because it's Apocalypse.
So there's actually a few good options. I think it could be fun.
Thank you, Jack Kirby.
Kick-Ass is a pretty good movie, actually. The first Kick-Ass movie.
It is. I like it.
For what it is,
I can see why other people like it. I wasn't entirely smitten with it, but I'm not saying it's a bad movie.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's quite as charming to me as it aims to be, but it's close. In other news,
we can probably wrap up, but yes, in other news.
Yeah, in other news, just because we talked about it the other week, because we talked about Tarantino doing a Star Trek film, and that Star Trek film has a writer now, and that writer is Mark Smith, who did The Revenant.
Mark L. Smith,
who did The Revenant. So what he did for The Revenant, which I thought was really interesting, is he wrote Leo acts to be in pain for 2.5 hours, and that was it. That was the script.
So maybe he's going to do the same to Chris Pine, and Chris Pine will just have to shove a fork into his leg in order to get
So we'll be talking about.
He also ate like a real bear heart or something.
I'll probably find a way to trash The Revenant next week when we do our year-end review.
Do you not like The Revenant?
I do, but there's a massive caveat to that. When I think potentially.
I like caviar.
I thought that.
Do you?
I thought that Leo was a particularly undeserved Oscar for Best Actor.
Yeah, because
considering there were roles he was in before where he deserved,
which were way the Aviator
or Django Unchained,
Catch Me If You Can. Yeah, there's lots
Shutter
of.
Island.
I think someone wrote it best. I think that by saying that Leo deserved the Oscar for doing his own stuff and being in these terrible conditions. Makes acting a macho contest instead of the theatrical contest it should be. It's who can do the most extreme stuff and generate the most hype,
Gatsby.
which I think is some bullshit. I love Great Gatsby, by the way. That was my favorite movie that year.
The Oscars aren't they're
great.
They're a joke, right? At this point, they're not.
The Oscar, those ones are a joke. The Oscars for best cinematographer, those are pretty well done.
Sure.
Not really. Didn't a turd win Best Art or whatever last year?
Yeah, Suicide Squad won Best Visual Effects.
No, it did not. It won Best
Makeup
and Costume
effects.
Design. And to be fair, if you saw the other nominees, it pretty much deserved it.
Did it?
Did
it though?
But what else was the competition? That's what you
can't
gotta
remember.
wonder.
I remember the competition that year not being great, and with the potential exception of Killer Croc. Who was kind of a late change because it was supposed to be King Shark originally, right? With the exception of Killer Croc, I actually thought that it was the second best Harley Quinn costume I've ever seen, for instance.
Yeah, sure.
But that's not what they won for.
What was the best?
The animated series.
They won for Killer Croc.
The OG Harley Quinn costume will always be my favorite.
Yeah, they won, like Aaron said, they won for Killer Croc, not Harley Quinn.
Specifically Killer Croc.
Right,
They won for a turd dipped in sprinkles.
A turd dipped in smaller turds.
Wait, okay, just
chocolate chips or something.
Did anybody watch Bright yet?
I haven't watched it yet.
It's out now. It's
out today.
It's on Netflix. You heard bad things, but this is what I find hilarious because it's Will Smith and Killer Croc in a movie.
Killer Croc in a movie. His joke is that Will Smith was dead shot.
Yeah, and the guy, like the other character in this thing, like
that's not Killer Croc though.
He looks exactly like him though. It's like the same makeup
but he's
effects
like an
and
orc
everything.
or something. Right?
Yeah, but it looks like Killer Croc. I'm like,
he's an orc as opposed to a giant.
But was anybody like, dude? Like 2 movies ago, you were in this
Killer Croc looks a lot better
on
screen, in my opinion. By the way,
does he?
In my personal opinion, he looked a lot better on screen than he did in those stills.
He does. Yeah.
I
will say, I was massively disappointed by Bright going into it because when I saw the trailer, somebody's like, "Adam, check out this trailer."
I was that guy. I said, check out this
trailer. Yeah, I remember that. I was there.
And I was watching it and it was like, it's the future. Magic has returned. I'm like, oh my god, it's a Shadowrun movie with Will Smith. I'm so excited. I was like, Bright, and I'm like,
No.
Yeah.
I've got 2 quick ones for that. When someone sent me the trailer for Jake Gyllenhaal's Nightcrawler, I was like, Nightcrawler with Jake Gyllenhaal? I'm so excited. And I'm watching. I'm like a minute into this thing. I'm like, okay, the car's on fire. He's gonna teleport in and save her. He's just like filming it, and I'm like,
this is weird.
I don't understand. When does he teleport? And I literally got to the end of the trailer. I was like, is this an origin story?
See,
they're not going to reveal it in the trailer.
The other one was Cowboys and Aliens, because Daniel Craig, it looked just like Fallout. He had the thing on his wrist. He walks in with the cowboy outfit. I was like, Fallout. No, it's nothing to do with Fallout. Cowboys and Aliens was alright though.
Yeah, it was alright.
Yeah.
It was alright.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
Awesome.
Steam Winter Sale is on. Make sure you get your games. We'll be back next
my
week
word.
with our year in review show.
Maybe.
Hopefully a
We might be
cheerier,
back.
hopefully a cheerier podcast is like how we spent our Christmas. Don't you enjoy spending your Christmas morning with your family, opening gifts and listening to a 45-minute conversation about sexual harassment in Hollywood by people who
Every
really don't know
year,
what they're
Adam.
talking about?
Every year.
Yeah. So
Let's talk more about that.
as usual, a bunch of us will have top lists. I'll have
We'll talk
top
about.
movies.
We'll nominate the
Top
best
list?
sexual assault
I'm
later.
not
Top
doing
list.
next
Oh my
one
God.
top list.
I'll have a top movies list. Adam will have a top games list and a top movies list.
I don't understand how women can take their shirts off like this. Like, because guys take their shirts off like this.
I can do it.
I don't even.
Yeah.
I take it off. Oh no! I take it off sleeve first.
Or sleeve first. Some guys do this, some guys do sleeve first, but women always do.
I can do that.
That's the
This.
sexy way of doing it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I like your arms get in the way. I always get the hair and get stuck.
No, you cross your arms, so you go. Your shirt's off.
Oh, I'm not gonna do it in front of the camera.
No, I know, but it's.
You almost did.
I almost did.
Andrew will have some top games, and as usual, like Aaron was about to say, we'll collaboratively come up with a Pixel Junkies best movie and
That's
best
not
game.
That's not what I said.
That's not what he said.
No.
Oh, well, I thought that was what you were leading to. I'm sorry. What were you leading to?
No,
Sorry.
I said we'll nominate the best sexual assault of the year.
Oh,
And
okay.
then
That really
everyone-
wasn't what you said at all. But we will nominate. You'll get the Pixel Junkies official picks for best.
I think it's
film and
important
best game
for
of the year.
Ocean's 8 to avoid a Ghostbusters-like scenario, and I think it's important for everybody else to avoid that scenario as well. Because
I don't understand what you're saying, but I'd like to.
I think a number or a lot of the controversy of that movie was accentuated a fair bit by the studio.
I see. I understand. What
Yeah.
you're getting
So
at.
I think in an effort to promote the movie,
Yeah,
in an effort to,
totally.
Which another thing
Fake
that got
news.
greatly exaggerated, which I think was very interesting, was
Aaron, you're gonna
the
fade out
negative
partway
response
through
to
that,
that movie.
oh yeah,
because
I expected him to just cut
that
fade
movie
this
did
out.
that movie did well critically.
Yeah.
And it was interesting how it got articulated by the media as if it was like a huge critical disaster, which I thought was really intriguing.
Yeah.
Is the snowballs?
Yeah, I'm having a snowball fight with a guy.
Anyway, goodbye, everyone.
Yeah.
Merry
We've already
Christmas
finished. We've
and-
already.